Hi guys and welcome to Throwzone.com. What we have in front of us today is the Ducati Monster 937 SP version. This is of course based on the Monster, but it's the SP version, so it gets a lot of race inspired tuning and hardware, and that's what makes it different from the regular Monster. This came in the Indian market in 23. The Monster came in 22. What are the exact same what are the changes and what makes it similar and yet different from the original Monster? Well, I had a very little time with the original or the base spec Monster. What I have spent a quality time with is the Ducati Monster SP here. And well, what are the changes? What you can see is a very good looking oval shape headlamp here with the LED DRL and the LED lights with the projector that look brilliant. The light and illumination and spread is pretty good for our conditions. Right now we're in the rain, so the LED lights really don't work really well, and nobody really wants to tour with those lights, but it's great for our city roads most of the time. What you can also see is something different rivalry from Ducati. This is the MotoGP inspired with the red and black all around. You've got the red pinstripe on the wheel, on the mudguard as well. On the front wheel also the visor is red, and you've got these fantastic golden Olin forks, 320mm disc brakes, Brembo calipers, the top of the line ones, and you've got adjustability in the brake, a big bad brake. This is also, the canister is also being changed. What you can see here is finally hydraulic clutch that makes it to the 937 series of engines, which the previous scramblers also had, and the Monster shared with it, and so now we see the hydraulic clutch on it as well. What is even more important and even more necessary to tell you is these Termaggiani exhausts here, which are very loud when you remove the decibel killer. But then again, before that, in stock position that they are right now, they are something that I will make you hear in a bit. At the back, typical Ducati, very slim tail, looks really nice. You've got these fantastic tail lamps on offer. The seat cowl has been added to make it much more racier, much more aerodynamic. You still got pegs, so you can get somebody here after removing this. The big seat, really comfortable, really nice. The padding is on the thinner side, of course, so not really ideal for long trips, but within the city, intercity, from one city to another slightly not that far city, this should be just fine. The big 14-liter tank of course is welcome, and it still ends up giving you almost 250 kilometers of range. You've got the switch gear, which is quite basic, and that helps it easily navigate through a lot of things. So if you press it once, it will trip the meter. This is the 4.3 inch screen that is offered with the Monster here, and you can go through all of that from here. And as you can see, trip, range, total consumption, trip 2, and you can see all of the electronic settings over here. You've got DTC, DQS, Ducati quick shifter, DTS, traction control, ABS, and Ducati wheelie control is on 3, because I'm in sport mode, and when I accelerated in sport mode, the wheelie control is almost at its lowest, but despite that the wheel does go up. So that's that. And you've got adjustable suspension for compression and preload at the front, and at the back you've got full adjustability from Öhlins, and it has an adjustability knob over there as well, so that's really impressive, and it's got a nice click feel to it, so that will be easier for you to adjust. And yeah, that's what the motorcycle is all about. The very big change is while riding, and most importantly the chassis. It's gotten away from the iconic trellis frame to the monocoque frame that you see here, that has been inspired and sort of taken from the Panigale. And of course this is an all new unit and really designed for the Monster itself. It has made a world of a change in the way it rides. And what exactly is it and how does it ride? Well, this 937cc makes 110 bhp of power, 95 newton meters of torque, and just weighs 186 kilograms fully fueled. That gives it a fantastic power to weight ratio. Low end is just about okay. Mid-range and top end is absolutely ballistic, reaches 140 in no time, and then if you redline in the first 3 gears itself, you're doing 180. Find a bigger stretch and you can reach 200 plus quite easily. So that is the level of performance that you're getting from this bike, and it does all of that with a lot of drama than the previous from its peers. But when compared to its previous iterations, the engine is now much more calmer and smoother. It doesn't have that wild train noise to a very large extent, and then L-twin character is pretty much there. It's not even close to being entirely divided. It is still there, but it is in a much more muted fashion because of the emissions and the fuel efficiency norms that keep on kicking in every now and then. And this is something that is now phenomenon with a lot of bikes. But the throttle response very crisp. It is very fun to ride indeed. The performance is really good for a bike this is this small with a small wheelbase, and it just loves to wheelie all the time. At the same time, what you can also feel while riding is that the Ducati quick shifter works really well. The only thing that I found out is that in all the riding modes, they are really well sorted out. The sport is quite aggressive. The normal mode is very good for everyday use and for those short bursts of overtaking. And the wet mode also works quite well. But in the wet mode, the DQS feels a little bit softy. The feels a bit softer and soggy. Soggy is the right word, because it isn't getting that amount of torque to change gears. So I guess that's the reason why it feels a little bit soggy while you are upshifting and downshifting without the clutch in wet mode. So apart from that, the Ducati quick shifter feels really nice, really solid. Upshifts and downshifts are pretty good, and when you really are going for it, the exhaust note at every single upshift and downshift is also fun to hear. Let me show you that. So that is how it idles. So that's how it sounds. It is quite loud, and but it isn't that characterful it used to be before. The Termigioni exhausts are doing a fantastic job over the stock exhaust by a huge margin, but not as childish and playful like how it used to be, which includes the engine as well in terms of how the character is now. The brakes, dropping the anchors is fantastic. Feels quite nice. I would have loved a bit more initial bite, but the front and rear disc brakes have come down, shed the speed quite quickly from 140, 150, which you end up doing quite immediately on an empty stretch of road, to 0. And the tires, as always, very good, very sticky. We've gone through some very intermittent conditions where it's been dry, wet, and even when the tires were cold, I started in the morning. The grip was quite fantastic. I never felt that it's going out of grip. What is immediately apparent with the monocoque chassis equipped Monster is that the stability is gone through the roof. It is absolutely stable, poised and composed like no other Ducati Monster I have seen till date. Everything with the trellis frame had that bit of hairiness that is completely gone, and because of the linear engine, this is now much more easier to live with than ever before. The Ducati Monster has become so much more livable. With the SP version, it is much more powerful. The ride quality is fantastic. The suspension damping is good. The rake angles feel just about okay. With the just about right wheelbase, it's great to chuck in corners, and needless to say, again, the stability is spot on. What has really changed the Ducati Monster by a long shot, also robs it a bit of character, but then again, this just makes you pursue the speed, the fun, and the aggressiveness, as well as the playful character that the Ducati Monster had. It's still there because Ducati hasn't really messed up with any other part. It's just made it better and better, and that is truly commendable by Ducati. Thanks to Ducati India for getting us the SP version as well, and to ride it on Indian roads to truly understand what this motorcycle is. I do ride a KTM Duke 390, and I am so tempted to get this motorcycle, but then again, I think 16 lakh rupees is a little bit expensive, and it's got some really potent rivals, the Street Triple RS and the the BMW 900 series of motorcycles, which are meant to be updated heavily as well in the next couple of years, in a year or two max. So we'll see how the pricing goes and how these end up comparing. Right now, the Ducati is very unique, very special. As always, the Ducati experience is there, just a bit more muted, but that muteness also allows it to be comfortable, linear, and easier to live with on a daily basis. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Please follow us on our social media website for everyday updates. Until then, goodbye.